The Boston Celtics' run this playoffs has been largely unexpected. People expected them to have a chance at the Eastern Conference Playoffs Finals when Kyrie Irving was healthy, but the moment he went down, the talk of the NBA shifted to a Toronto Raptors vs Cleveland Cavaliers Eastern Conference Finals. Not only have the Celtics made the conference finals, they are currently drawn 2-2 in the series against LeBron and the Cavaliers, and could potentially be heading back to the finals for the first time since 2010. This incredible run is due to the amazing play of Al Horford, Marcus Smart, and Terry Rozier. But perhaps the most important play of all has come from their young stars, Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Back in October, just after the Gordon Hayward injury, I made a video discussing how the two young wings would save the Celtics season. This came true, but now this video will cover how Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown are the future of the Boston Celtics. The Boston rebuild began the moment that Danny Ainge traded Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce. And from the beginning, one thing was very clear. The Celtics would stockpile assets until they landed a star player or could trade for one. Many had Boston pegged in the race to trade for Jimmy Butler or Paul George, or to try and pry Anthony Davis from the New Orleans Pelicans. Frequently, Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum would be included in these trade proposals to try and get an established star to Boston. But Ainge sat firm, and the only significant move he made outside of the trade for Kyrie Irving was the trade with Philadelphia to get the number 3 pick. The flip of the number 1 pick for the number 3 pick and a future pick from either the Lakers or the Sacramento Kings was genius. Nearly every single media analyst, NBA fan, and front office executive was convinced that Fultz was the number 1 pick and the best player in the draft. Everyone except for Danny Ainge. It has now become clear that Ainge would have taken Tatum number 1, and that he managed to acquire a top draft pick in the 2019 NBA draft and the player he wanted. Danny zigged as the rest of the league zagged, and while Fultz may still pan out and become a great player, Tatum has had a far better rookie season and showed the rest of the league what Danny Ainge saw in him. Tatum played in 80 games during the regular season and averaged 14 points, 5 rebounds, 1.6 assists, 1 steal, and 0.7 blocks a game, while shooting 43.4% from the three-point line and 47.5% from the field. He did all of this while being the 4th and sometimes even the 5th option in Brad Stevens' offense. It shows a player that can play off ball to an exceptionally high level, but who can also develop into a star. Tatum would run relentlessly across the baseline, cut to the basket, and spot up in the corner in order to get easy looks. He was also fantastic at using his youth and speed to get out and run in transition, frequently getting easy layups and dunks, or creating for himself and others in these spots. But what Boston fans should be excited about, and the rest of the league worried for, is what Tatum does when he gets given the ball in the post or on the wing and asked to create. Jayson Tatum's footwork and jump shot are simply out of this world for a 19-year-old. Kobe Bryant did a fantastic in-depth look at his film, and I suggest checking it out. It's amazing content from one of the best basketball minds ever. Tatum can do everything in the post. He can fade to the baseline or into the paint for a contested jump shot that he seems to make even when you expect him to miss. He can also bully his way to the rim and finish with a hook from either hand, and he has even shown the ability to spin baseline and leave his defender in the dust for an easy dunk or layup. Then, on the perimeter, he has a great handle for someone of his size and can bait defenders into reaching before blowing by them. One area he does need to improve on is probably passing when he gets doubled after beating an opposition player. This will come with time and experience playing in the league as he gets more possessions to create for himself and others. But Jayson manages to balance the lack of passing with some simply incredible finishes at the rim. It appears as though his arms are endless as he reaches towards the backboard to kiss the ball off the glass and into the rim. He can finish with both hands, change hands mid-air, and can also seem to stop in the paint and rise up to get a jump shot. Tatum is an incredibly advanced scorer for a 20-year-old, and Paul Pierce rightly predicted that he will become an offensive star in the future. But the thing that impresses me about him the most is his defense. Many draft experts predicted that Tatum would struggle to guard in the NBA. They thought he'd get burned on the wing and bullied in the post. Jayson has absolutely proven them all wrong with his defensive effort, positioning, and length this part season. It turns out that being fast, having go-go gadget arms, a great coach, and the willingness and ability to learn is an awesome combination for a young NBA defender. Tatum actually had a positive defensive box plus minus in his rookie year, which is pretty incredible and rare for an NBA rookie to achieve. As Tatum gets older, he'll become even more confident on both ends of the floor, work out where his best spots to create on the floor are, and become a better passer in Brad Stevens' offense. and due to his ability to play shooting guard and power forward as well as preferred small forward spot, there'll always be minutes available to him and he can mesh with many different teammates. One of those teammates is Jaylen Brown. Brown was picked at pick 3 the year before Tatum, and he projects to fill a wing spot alongside Jason for years to come. But he won't just fill this spot. Brown is showing he has all the tools to dominate a wing spot for his entire NBA career. While Tatum will contribute with his smooth jump shot from anywhere on the floor, his great footwork and handles, Brown will contrast that with the extreme athleticism and imposing will to score and incredible defensive versatility. Brown's athleticism is simply off the charts. He's fast, quick to accelerate, and incredibly strong for a guy his size. It allows him to guard every position on the court except for the biggest players. This versatility allows him to play Brown as the nominal shooting guard on the court, guarding guys like Redick and J.R. Smith, and then on the other end, those players have to guard him. This is one of the big values of Jaylen Brown, because by simply playing him at the 2, he is a walking mismatch without getting abused defensively. Brad Stevens recognized this season and played Brown as a shooting guard for 51% of the time he was on the court in the regular season, and this number has shot up to 73% in the playoffs this year. But Brown isn't limited to just being a bully physical player. Many expected this when he was drafted, but what they failed to account for was his work ethic and instinct on the court. Brown's YouTube channel highlights the amount of work he puts in on the offseason, and he doesn't just work on the things he's already good at, he works on the skills he needs to add. After his rookie year, the criticisms of Brown was that his handle was weak and his three-point shooting was poor. This past season, his handle has clearly gotten better, and while it still needs a little tightening, he isn't turning the ball over anywhere near as much as he did last season. Plus, he's more decisive on the drives and it allows him to get far better looks at the rim. But his best improvement has been his three-point shooting. Last year, Brown shot 34.1% from three-point land on 1.9 attempts a game, and this year he raised his percentage to 39.5% on 3.6 attempts a game. The number of attempts almost doubled, and increased the percentage he knocked them down by an incredible amount. Then, in the playoffs, he has taken it to another level again, shooting 43.2% on almost 6 attempts per game. Jaylen Brown has become a lethal three-point shooter, when he was a completely average one just the year before. This leap was made with one off-season of work put in. Imagine how much better his shooting will get after 3 more off-seasons of working on it. And what other skills will he add to his game? I think he should spend another off-season working on the same things. An improved handle and jump shot just help an athletic player open the game up so much more for themselves. But after this, I'd like to see Brown work on his post-up game and the ability to shoot more off the dribble in multiple spots. Whatever he works on though, I'm sure Brown will improve at an incredible rate, as he grows into an all-around beast during his time in the league. So Brown and Tatum are essentially destined to become all-star level players, and if I was the Celtics, I wouldn't be trading them. And it is their playoff success that has solidified this for me. Tatum and Brown absolutely lifted without Kyrie Irving, and both have taken turns to dominate playoff games and drag the Celtics into the Eastern Conference Finals. If they can manage to make the NBA Finals and even win a championship, it would be one of the most incredible runs by young players in the history of the NBA. You simply don't trade guys with the possibility to do that. Plus, they fit so well with the other young players on the Celtics roster. Marcus Smart has shown his ability to impact games from the guard position and is the perfect backup point guard or complementary shooting guard to Kyrie Irving. He distributes the ball well and is an amazing defender whose effort and hustle never fails to help win basketball games. Then there is Terry Rozier, who can light up off the bench and run an offense. It will be hard to keep both Rozier and Smart while staying under the cap, and Danny Ainge will have to get creative to extract value from both of them while still pushing to win a title in 2019. Because in 2019, there is a serious chance to shoot for an NBA championship. Hayward and Irving will both be back from injury, and they'll add something to this Celtics roster that they desperately need. The true ability to score and create in isolation when things get tough. The Celtics have been incredible in the playoffs at home. They haven't lost a game, but they struggled to create good offense on the road in the playoffs. This is highlighted by the fact that the Celtics went 22-8 on the road with Kyrie Irving this year and have only gone 7-10 without him. Being able to score under pressure on the road when you aren't as well rested or settled is a skill that takes time for most players to develop. Gordon Hayward is proven to be able to do this, winning games on the road in the playoffs and actually closing out Game 7 against the Clippers in Los Angeles. And then there is Kyrie Irving, who is one of the best individual creators in the league. These two players will be able to break down defenses and score for themselves and create for their team. Brown, Tatum and Horford will be able to become more complementary when compared to how they have played this series. This will allow them to focus on their shooting, attacking closeouts, passing, and having the energy to play the intense switching defense that Brad Stevens runs. I am sure that Brad will still run a balanced style of offense, but if Kyrie Irving and Hayward had played games 3 and 4 of the series against the Cavaliers, I guarantee they would have been asked to create when the Celtics stalled, and you can bet they would have delivered. Next year, the Celtics will have a starting lineup of Kyrie Irving, Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, and Al Horford, presuming that they don't make any trades. This will see them without a traditional power forward, but I think you cannot justify benching any of these guys. I'm sure Stevens will occasionally start a bigger player and move out to the 4, but this will not be the regular lineup. This team is deadly from 3 at all 5 positions. They can all create, defend, and pass, and be one of the most versatile and coachable teams in the league. Plus, they'll have Marcus Morris, Terry Rozier, and Daniel Tice off of the bench. And I think they'll most likely sign Marcus Smart and have him and anyone else they sign off of the bench as well. This is a championship potential team, and the Celtics will have really completed one of the best rebuilds ever. But their chances of actually winning a championship are so dependent on how far Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum can go, and all signs point to them going far. Thanks for watching, guys. If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more NBA videos, and let me know what you think of the Celtics in the comments below.